we feel a bit peckish and want a snack, you eat exactly the same thing. Hey, wouldn't that be boring? No McDonald's. Wow, that'd be hard, wouldn't it, guys? But anyway, that's hippo's life for you. And unfortunately, hippos are now under enormous pressure in the wild because people need grasslands for more farming areas and grazing areas for their animals. They need more water for those animals and those farmlands. So people are moving in and disrupting habitats and hippo areas in the wild. So it's putting hippos under enormous pressure. Their numbers are declining as their wetlands disappear. And so they are now a vulnerable species. We believe now hippo numbers right throughout Africa number probably less than 100,000 of them. Whereas at one time there were many hundreds of thousands right through from the upper reaches of the Nile right down through into South Africa. It is getting that time of the day when the local inhabitants are out, the rabbits. Yes, we have lots of rabbits around the place at the moment. We're working very hard on that though because we like to keep the area nice and secure for our other animals. Just on the right hand side too, there's just a few of our Indian antelope just wandering. We will come up that road, by the way, so we hopefully will get a little bit closer to them. They have been hanging out up that side most of today, so keep the fingers crossed we'll get to visit them on our return journey. Okay, what I'm going to do now is take you down now over another river crossing. This time, fortunately, we did have a budget to build a bridge, and so we are going to cross over the Werribee River. The Werribee River flows in through the zoo. It's down now as we cross the bridge in a moment to Werribee South, where it runs out through the wetlands into Port Phillip Bay. It's a very nice view. It's always a great view during the day here, down to the left-hand side through that river corridor with the nice sunshine, the native growth habitat, the secure, safe area for a lot of our local native animals and birds through the area. So it's a great view down through there. Not too far down, it enters in through the wetlands at Werribee South and then finishes its journey into Port Phillip Bay. As we crest over the hill onto the escarpment part of the trail, we're now heading out to the vast open grasslands. And as we do, passing through the countryside, we pass through tribal land, and this is grazing country. This is cattle country. And like we were saying, people grazing their animals and their farmlands and needing water and the resources, competing with the local wildlife. If you have a look out here to the right hand side, you'll get a glimpse of some of the local cattle. Cattle very important in a lot of cultures and communities throughout Africa, providing them lots of things for their needs and survival, but also forming the basis of their currency or their money system. Lots of cultures and communities still barter and trade today. Large animals like this taking up lots of space and disrupting the habitats for the wildlife are the basis of that currency system, and they form the upper end of the currency. Well, dare I say it, your $100 notes instead of your $5 notes. And there are two rhinos just coming up here on our right hand side. You might get a glimpse, but these are just two of them, and it's just two of many, and we're going down to visit some in the open savannah without fences and security around, so we do have to be very careful. These two rhino you may spot through the trees here are our two oldest rhinos, a male and a female. I like to refer this as to our over 50s retirement area. Although these guys are in their mid-40s. Oh, sorry, early 40s. And that's okay, you can live to around 45 years of age. no longer utilised for our breeding programs for white rhinos here at Werribee. I'll take you down and introduce you to the other three lovely ladies. We'll pass by the village of Malacco coming on our right hand side as we enter the Savannah region. It's typical of tribal communities in some regions. It gets its name Malacco from the Malacco Community Conservation Reserve area of northern Kenya. Very important part of the world to us here at Werribee because it's where we source and where we work with communities through our Beads for Wildlife program. Just at the moment, we are going to now enter into the Savannah region, the large open grassland. We're going to progress around the escarpment to the entrance to enjoy the view out over the open Savannah region as we move around, see if you might spot some of the animals. They have all been gathering up to our eastern end here, so on our left hand side as you glance down, you might get to spot some of them, but we are heading down there, so we will get down and say good afternoon. I'm just going to do a side pause at the moment. I'm just going to ask that you are making sure you are comfortably and safely seated and little ones are secure with you, please. You're going to drop down onto the Savannah. It is a short hill, but it's quite steep. So I just wouldn't like anybody to end up sitting on the floor instead. There's a nice view out over the nice green grasslands at the moment as the later autumn and early winter rains have freshened it all up and started the regrowth. Talking to a gentleman earlier on who commented about it, and I said, well, it's a little bit hard to imagine that 8 to 10 weeks ago this was a dust bowl. It was brown, it was dusty, there was very little green grass around, but it didn't take long for the cooler weather and the moisture to regenerate and reinvigorate the grassland zones. A great area for our larger, heavier and taller animals to wander and to graze around over. We're going to now go and visit a couple of the large herd animals, the zebras, and also the eland, the biggest antelope in the world. Keep an eye open for a couple of ostriches, the biggest bird in the world. Keep safe from the great big grumpy rhinoceros. The girls group is down here at the moment. And also watch out as we can see coming up on our right. The tallest animal in the world's biggest browser. The giraffes. Scattered through now on our right hand side, the biggest antelope of the world, the eland. Scattered through with some zebras as well, good friends of theirs, both large grazing animals, both species of low risk or least concern, prolific species, literally with hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of them found right through savanna areas from the south to the central north of Africa. Two of the large grazing animals living in those big herds simply means constantly on the move as you follow the seasons of the year, the growth of the grasses for the food chain, the water holes filling up from the rains as well. Two species that are doing very, very well. Zebra is very unique with their black and white stripes. And the eland very unique also with their very large body with the solid looking horns that boys and girls have. Both targets of course because of their size by some of the larger predators of savanna regions. The eland will grow up to around 700 to 800 kilograms. Big zebras are bred to grow to somewhere in the vicinity of 350 to 400 kilograms. So quite a good food supply there for a lot of those predators or the carnivores of savanna regions. Well, they're moving through, of course, are the white rhinoceros. The white rhino is the biggest rhino species of the world. The three here are three females, two adults and a juvenile. The juvenile is the one on the right-hand end. This is Capenzi. Now Capenzi now is coming up 4.5 years old. 5.5 years old. Oh, I forget now, she grows real fast. But anyway, 5.5 years of age, and she weighs now over 1,350 kilograms. Out there with her, the two adults, is her mother and an auntie. They weigh in the vicinity of 2,000 to 2,100 kilograms each. It's quite normal, quite average sorts of weights for adults, females. Big boys grow bigger than that. They'll get up to nearly 3,000 kilograms from time to time. As I said earlier on, we are a breeding centre, a captive breeding centre for white rhinoceros in the world. So not only these three girls, but a couple of others and 3 boys in our breeding program at the moment. We have bred here that other animals have gone on to breeding programs at other zoos around this part of the world, very importantly as well. The white rhinoceros is the world's biggest pure grass-eating animal. You've got to think there are thousands and thousands of animals on a savanna area, mostly grazers all competing for their space and their share of the food, their share of the water and the water holes as well. Particularly a lot of the larger animals, they're constantly on the move with their big numbers, simply because not enough food to support them, so they're looking for those regrowth areas or those newer areas as they regrow as the rains pass through. So not unusual for a lot of these larger animals, except for the rhinos who are territorial, to travel many hundreds and hundreds of kilometres in their year as they follow that food chain. And these great big rhinos, you've got to be very careful around them. Yes, come on Cece, you're going to cross the road or not? She's a little bit annoyed, thank you very much. The tail curl down, you put the tail down, thank you. Big and long as they are, 2,000 so kilograms, can still move very, very quickly. Can run at speeds of in excess of 50 to 55 kilometres an hour. They are very protective in their territorial regions. There are one male in each territory, so males don't cohabit, only the girls. Males are solitary basically, because when boys do get together they will fight, and that fight will be about the territory and it will be about the women or the girls in the area as well.
50 kilo?
50 to 55.
Huh? Huh? Ah, takwa. Kala ko.
I got one of the right, okay.
Paborito ng mga
You wouldn't like to see, you wouldn't like, okay,
Crow.
got swapped out, didn't they?
Same camera mo po nakita.
Huh?
Same camera mo.
Dad, take a photo. It's your roll. Take a photo now.
0718.
If anybody on board is from New Zealand,
07.
you can say
18.
kia ora, rub noses, and say hi to John Lady, who's from Auckland. We do have 6 giraffes here at the zoo, and they are all boys. Jelani is our second youngest. He's now moving through from young adulthood into maturing adulthood. We have a younger one who's moving from late adolescence into young adulthood, and we have 4 mature adults. And they're all boys. This is the boys' club, or the basketball team, because of their height. I was not made to be fit. They are the world's tallest animal. They're also the world's biggest browser, being 5.5 metres tall on average, weighing around 1,400 kilograms. One of the great things is that you get to feed mainly in an area where nobody else can reach. So you don't tend to have to share with anybody else other than your friends and mates. You don't have to compete with grazers all jostling for their spot down at ground level. 80% of what they eat comes from the trees. The other 20% comes from grasses and bushes and shrubs.